I'm my own audience.
You look like a crab.
Kingler, man. Kingler.
You look like a crab. That's okay.
Shut up and sit down.
Hello and welcome to Nerddom's Levels of Ridiculousness podcast. I'm your host, Ozpin, and I'm joined by my co-host and buddy, DK.
I am half the man I used to be.
What is that a reference to?
A song. Austin Jeans? No. It's... I forget.
Levels of Ridiculousness, or LoR, is a show dedicated to our conversations on all things nerd. We touch on a wide variety of subjects, news, and feature a different main discussion topic every week. This week's main topic of Nerddom lore is the Disney and Fox merger and what we think that could mean for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Days of the New.
What?
That's the band. Half the man I used to be.
Anyway, that legit kind of took me off guard. All right,
Fox and Disney merger, yes. That's the main topic.
But before all of that, let's jump into Nerddom updates, which, for those who aren't aware, DK did a live stream
Monday
for Fortnite. It's about an hour long.
It's 47 minutes long. I only did 3 matches. My first 3 matches ever. You can go check them out on this channel. Also,
yeah, you'd never tried the Battle Royale before, had you?
I've never done PUBG Battle Royale type style fighting at all. I did really good. My 3rd match I ranked in the top 10.
Cool.
And I'm a coward in the game. I'm not used to it. I killed a couple people, which was beyond me. I was ecstatic.
Cowardice is how I would win that.
But I will be live streaming every Monday.
Cool.
This one was short. The next ones will be longer.
At
least an hour.
How are you updating, how are you informing everyone when you will be doing live streams?
I put it out on Twitter, at Nerddom. I am at Nerddom_DK. Donkey Kong, my nickname, DK. So it's just at Nerddom_DK, and you'll find me. It's also in the towel section down below, where we put out the information. It also has a link to our Facebook, so go check us out there. We'll start actually, putting questions out and funny little tidbits of...
I've yet to be actively, on the Facebook in any way.
We'll get you there.
I'm open to that.
We can become the media guys.
But you will post on Facebook and Twitter to let everyone know that...
Yes, and just if you're here listening, it's every Monday at 8 o'clock Central American time. Yeah,
keep an eye out for those notifications. But that's all we have for channel updates, I think.
No other channel updates. We're just doing podcast fun facts every Monday and Friday, and
streaming Monday nights.
Streaming Monday night at 8 Central.
Cool. All right, then let's jump into what we've been up to. What have you been up to?
Okay, so I bought a PSP.
This is a fun story. Tell this story.
I spent money, about $89 on a PSP 2000. The one before the 3000.
Slim.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. And I didn't want to buy a 3000 because I saw them on Amazon for $490. Uh-huh. That's more than a
That's
PlayStation
more than they were
4.
when they came out.
Yeah. But
that's
they're
ridiculous.
Good systems. They're good systems for everybody said. But I went with 2000. It was supposed to be piano black. It was supposed to be all shiny, come with 6 different accessories, that's like in the picture it showed.
Uh-huh.
When I got it, it came with a charger, the glitter pink PSP, and no response when I tried to contact the seller.
Uh-huh.
So
What website was this?
It was off Amazon.
This is Amazon. That's actually kind of surprising for Amazon that they would have such a fluke.
Well, they also have private sellers, people that sell stuff on their site. There's this news story about
Amazon's a vendor.
A guy made millions of dollars off of buying stuff from Walmart and selling it on Amazon.
Yeah, no, you can do that. You can totally... It's called scalping, and it's something that people like me who are in-depth in things like toy collecting are very aware of. And it's very irritating. What happens is... I'm going to talk about Transformers collecting because that's my knowledge of it. People will go out, they will buy Transformers when they are released. Some of the brand new figures. They will clean out all of the stores in their area, and then they will post them for sale online
at an escalated price.
At an increased price, so that the people who want them will have no choice but to pay an increased market value to get their hands on it.
Now, at some point, they're doing it to where only one per buyer, right? They're trying to crack down on scalpers. At least
if you walk into a store, you can buy whatever you want. I don't imagine that they would give you any kind of limit if you're there in person. Online purchases, yeah, I can understand that. They certainly do that online. I don't know if they do it in store. But that's the problem, is they'll do that with exclusive figures, and it'll make scalpers make the exclusive figures impossible to find. But this is not limited to the Transformers fandom. This is anything.
Yeah, like
people do this with video games. If you have the money to get into this, people will buy like 2 of something and then sell the second one online.
I know
for more money, basically getting that figure free.
I know Yu-Gi-Oh! I tried to find a certain box set that it's. If anybody plays Yu-Gi-Oh!, you know what box set I'm talking about. It was the one that just beat everyone, and
I have no idea which one you're talking about.
You will not understand. It's a long, long story, but essentially,
I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh! Guy.
They limited it to 1 box, booster box per pre-order.
Okay.
Or to buy it, you can only buy a certain amount, and that was in store and online. They limited it
at which store?
Toy Wiz. Also,
are you thinking of the Orichalcos box?
No, it was before that.
I remember seeing someone go up to the comic book store down the street and asking, "Hey, do you have any of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Orichalcos boxes?" They said, "Yeah, we have about 4 of them in the back." He's like, "I'll take all of them." And the guy behind the counter was like, "You what now?"
No,
I got to experience that conversation from afar, but.
No, I'm not talking about the Orichalcos box. It was the one that came after it that broke the game for only like a month and a half. They
broke the game.
Broke it.
Okay, I don't know which.
It
box
was an
that
ultimate combo. It was I forget what it was. I have some of the cards right now, but
you know what series it was from?
This brand new series. It's one of the ones where we saw that was the ones that stay in this very center. In between your where there's only 2 slots on the whole map.
Oh, the pendulums.
No, it was after pendulum. It's the summoning after that where it has the directional cards.
I don't know anything about those yet.
Yeah, me either. But essentially,
I barely know anything about.
They
pendulums.
limited sales to that at some point for 1 per person.
Huh.
Which is great because it cuts down scalping, but it's also
good.
Bad
and
because
cards are things people will scalp.
Yeah.
Especially box sets.
But back from the...
But you got a PSP.
Aimless wandering. So I had to go out on Amazon again and buy skin. But this time it's going to be good because it's a plastic skin that looks and feels like wood.
I'd either rock the pink or I'd like spray paint black over the pink. Because it's clear plastic with like a pink coloring under it, right?
No, it is...
I didn't get a good look at it.
No, it is just... glitter pink.
I would still be like, I'm gonna spray paint black over this hot pink, and like,
I'd
rock that. I'd make it like really like an Art Deco thing, just spray paint an X all over it.
I thought about changing it up, painting it, but I'm lazy. I work too much to do that. I just bought a skin. I'm gonna take time to put that on.
It would be too much trouble to tape over it to make sure that it didn't get damaged.
That's why I also got this, because it also protects it from it. It's very sturdy, I trusted it. It's a company I bought from before.
Cool.
When I had for my PS3, I once had a skin over it, before I now have the red Nightwing logo on it.
Cool.
Now I'm going to pass it to you now.
Cool.
Any updates for you?
Well, I would like to say that I've been keeping up with Ruby. But I don't have Rooster Teeth first. And for some reason, the latest episode, Chapter 11, has not come out on YouTube yet.
Could be an error.
It's been so long that I have actually been somewhat spoiled
Okay, wow.
Did I say spoiled?
Yeah.
I've been somewhat spoiled.
I understand what you meant.
Somewhat spoiled on something that's going to happen in episode 11.
That always sucks.
I'm horrified by what I found out.
Aw.
But I'm going forward hoping that I understand it enough to a point that what appears to have happened did not actually happen.
Okay.
I will...
That's convoluted.
I will update everybody next week because I'm sure at one point or another I will have access to the episode, probably tomorrow. I think they come out, because we're recording on a Tuesday.
And we put it out Wednesday.
So I should have access to it by Thursday night.
Okay.
I'm afraid... and I will be watching it after, I'll be watching it by myself. I won't have anyone around to watch it with me, or anyone to comfort me once I'm done watching it.
Because the art messes with me, and also I have work that night.
Yeah. But, beyond RWBY, did you have anything else?
I don't have everybody can see in fun facts, I need a haircut direly.
I think you're alright with longer hair.
I am going to, actually, later today, I'm going to actually go get a haircut. I'm going to get back to what I normally have. Cool. I was going to grow it out, but decided not to. I guess that's a channel update because on my face is the face of the channel, which is poor SOBs.
The viewers?
Yeah, the viewers. I apologized for my hillbilliness.
Not having a military side cut?
Yeah. I as a security guard, my hair is already too long. No one said anything, so that's awesome. But
I'm surprised they'd institute that rule at your work.
They said I can't have facial hair, or I would have a beard right now. Because, frankly, I'd have a beard.
You're gonna have your mom cut your hair?
She cut hair for 15 years. A lot of people don't know that. But she was a professional hairstylist for 15 years. So yeah, I'm gonna have her cut it.
I mean, if I had my hair cut, I'd have your mom cut it.
I could just sit down and say just the usual. And she has all her styling salon tools at home, so yeah. And pass it back to you.
I haven't been doing much other than waiting desperately for RWBY. I rewatched, just because I was doing work and I wanted something on in the background, I essentially rewatched The Devil is a Part-Timer all the way through the other night. I like it.
To have free time.
I like it. It's boring sometimes.
Yeah.
Frankly, I think
I like it, though.
The story irritates me. You know? There are just points where it's like, you came up with this premise where your main character is the devil. And
you do that, too.
There are points where you're meant to empathize with him. And I'm like, he's the devil! There's this moment where the female main character, not main character, but the female girl who likes him, you know, she's this innocent, kind of naive teen. And she's sitting there and she's trying
starts with a chi.
She's trying to... Chio?
Chiro? Yeah.
Something CH. But she's sitting there and she's trying to defend him to someone. I'm not going to mention who, because it's a spoiler, but they're having an argument. Well, and she's trying to defend him, and the only defense that she can offer is...
He's a nice guy!
He's a nice guy! He loves his friends and stuff like that. And the person who's making the argument is... He has murdered thousands!
No, he hasn't.
I don't know about that, because they are deliberately vague. They are deliberately vague in exactly how much he had control over.
If you read the light novel, you know that he did not know any of the demons were just attacking random places. He thought he was having an actual fair war.
Good for the manga, but I didn't read the manga. I watched the show. And it's my opinion that I should be able to watch the show and appreciate it and enjoy it without having to go and read a book.
Agreed.
So that being said...
But 90% of anime is not that way.
It was like watching two people... It was like that scene in Revenge of the Sith where Obi-Wan and Anakin are yelling at each other and it sounds like they're having two different conversations.
Yeah.
You know, Obi-Wan's trying to have the conversation that I want to listen to, and Anakin is just reading from the script. It's like they weren't on the same line with each other at all.
Yeah.
When they were arguing, and she was defending him and the other person was trying to be like, in our home world, he is a mass murderer. they aren't having the same conversation because the justifications the girl is coming up with don't match what the other person is saying he's guilty of. It's like, oh, good for him if he cares about his friends. That doesn't change the fact that he's responsible for mass amounts of death and suffering and bloodshed and war.
Yes.
Anyway.
He is responsible for war, but I will say this, that they even in the show, they don't say that he's killed mass millions. He says he's the cause.
That's fine, and that's the problem I have with the show, is that if you're gonna make a show, and the premise is, your main character is the devil, they could have just made him a demon king. Yeah. They didn't have to say that he is Satan. You know?
Yeah,
if you're gonna make a show where the premise is, your main character is Satan, literally Satan, you shouldn't be trying to get the audience to empathize with him or have a prepubescent teenage girl crushing on him and trying to defend him from assassins from the alternate reality.
It's Japan, man!
I'm alright with that to an extent. There are some completely insane ideas for anime.
Yes.
I love those ideas for anime.
Where Buddha and Jesus are... You know, roommates.
You beat me to it. You beat me to it.
Yeah, gotcha.
The one where Buddha and Jesus are hanging out with each other, and I think Buddha's a chick.
Buddha's a guy.
Oh, really?
They're both guys.
I'm thinking of a manga where it's Jesus is reincarnated, but he's a girl.
Yeah,
he's
like no, that's not what I'm talking about.
That's a thing, though. For everyone listening, I don't know what the name of it is.
Sweet
but
Jeebus.
There is a manga from Japan where Jesus has been reincarnated as a female.
Oh, God.
And boy, is he hot.
Oh, God.
Literally.
We're ending this here.
Oh, God, literally.
We're ending this here. I will punch you in the face.
Holy titties. Yes.
Seriously.
But I think that's going to wrap up what we've been up to, so we can jump into nerd news. And you can go ahead and start if you want. Because I know you have a story about...
I have a Star Wars
story. Star Wars, yeah.
The Star Wars story, because everybody loves stars and war.
Everybody loves wars. Everybody loves stars.
Space war. Okay, so...
I stand by, no matter what it is, no matter what you're saying, if you preface it with space, it becomes awesome. I'm gonna go...
So my space news is...
Yep, see?
Yeah, it instantly became awesome.
Hey, let me take a drink out of my space teacup.
Okay, so Rian Johnson, the director of Star Wars The Last Jedi, has said that maybe Rey's parents are not what Kylo said. Maybe that he said that to trick her. But he's also not giving a definitive answer. He's saying it is up to J.J. Abrams if he wants to make it actually, this is your parents. Because the whole...
I actually do believe we've said before that I thought that J.J. Abrams directed this movie. I certainly I did not think about it until after, when we did the podcast, I think I called them the J.J. Star Wars movies.
Which isn't wrong, he's doing 2 out of 3, so technically he's done the majority of them.
I did realize that later, that it was Rian Johnson.
And he had input.
But boy, did Rian Johnson do a good job.
I think he had an input on this one also.
I know that they asked him to come back.
He started it and he had to leave.
He started it, he left. He didn't intend to come back, and then they asked him to come back to do 9, and he's like, yeah, please.
I'll be there.
I'd love to do that.
But Rian Johnson has basically, with the interview of HuffPost, which I think is Huffington Post, but I'm not sure. HuffPost. He said that he doesn't think, or he's leading us to believe that there's more to Rey's story.
So he is advocating for viewers
to speculate.
He's advocating speculation, which that's cool.
Yeah,
that he's on board with speculation. He's implying that the fans,
it could be more or less than what it is.
The fans think Ben is lying. Maybe Ben's lying. Yeah. It's not my place to answer that question for y'all.
Now, J.J. Abrams is the one you want to talk to. Yeah. So that's my new story. Is like one of the things that the whole movie the whole thing was like, your parents aren't going to define you. We're not going to give you the answer. Even the Kyber crystal wall in the dark cave, the dark side cave, was like, we're not going to show you your parents. We're just going to show you an endless loop of yourself.
And I thought that it was just... Because The Last Jedi is one of my favorite... It's not one of my favorite films, but it is my favorite Star Wars film. And that being said, it is my favorite Star Wars film because of all the subversions that it does.
Yeah.
So you watch The Force Awakens and you think they're building up who her parents are. Then you get to this movie. Turns out that does not matter at all.
Nope.
Turns out they're nobodies who, frankly, are dead. And it literally will not matter. Spend the whole time building up Luke, only to subvert your expectations for what Luke is.
Exactly.
No, just that moment when Leia shoots my boy Poe
with the stun
is one of the more obvious ones where you think she's gonna walk under the bridge and be like, "Oh, hey, you've been doing a good job there, boy."
Nope, puts him out,
and then she shoots him in the face.
that was a beautiful scene.
I love movies that do that. So I hope that the fan speculation is wrong. But I'm a little counterculture.
Fair enough. Me and you apparently had a very different... No, from everybody else, not between you and me. Different view to about half of the people that seen the movie. Me and you share the same opinion, but it differs widely against everybody else.
There's a good chunk of people who like the movie.
Yes.
I love the movie.
We side with those guys.
Yeah, we side with the fans.
Dudette, we're with you.
Because frankly, I am totally okay with people who you think are heroes being torn down and being shown to be just human. But for those who are interested, because frankly, I also have a Star Wars story before we get into our main top story.
Okay, go ahead.
For those interested, my review of The Last Jedi
is on Facebook.
Yeah, we did post that on the Nerddom Facebook page. So
again, it'll be in the description below.
Yeah, feel free to go read that if you're interested. It's 5 very long paragraphs.
It's the the Facebook will be linked, not the actual review.
Yeah,
it's on there.
It'll be one of the first things on it, though. That being said, I apologize in advance for the wall of text. However, I feel I did a good job at getting all of my points across.
Very much so.
My nerd news story is about Fluke Skywalker.
Oh, God.
Which I actually had to go searching for this a little bit.
Because there's no news today.
Online, yeah. Both DK and myself had issues finding any kind of news.
That's worth mentioning.
Yeah, it's January 2nd. News is kind of slow. Christmas just went by. We had New Year's Eve. There wasn't much to talk about.
Yeah, not really.
But that being said, I think that my story is actually pretty heartwarming. It's a story about an individual who cosplays as older Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi.
Okay.
Who pays visits to children's hospitals.
Oh, good dude.
In the same vein as a Santa. You know, like a Santa Claus will visit children's hospitals. But he goes to children's hospitals dressed up like Luke Skywalker from the movie and gives these kids Star Wars toys. And I saw that and I'm like, I almost passed over it. I did. I kept scrolling. And then I'm like, you know what? No, that deserves mentioning. Because that's awesome. That's great. And I love it.
What's his name?
I don't know his real name.
No, what's it go as?
Luke.
Luke?
He cosplays as Luke, but he goes by Fluke.
Fluke, like
F-L-U.
Does he look similar?
He looks very similar.
Okay. There you go.
Specifically from certain angles, it's not Mark Hamill, but he does a pretty good job at pulling off the look.
He probably makes a lot of kids happy.
Yeah.
Which is all that matters.
Frankly, that's what Santas who do that every year. I remember it's not an easy job.
No.
I read a story once, and this is a depressing story, about a Santa who goes to children's hospitals.
Yeah. And
I'm sure there are plenty of stories like this out there, but the kid said, "Can you make me better?"
And he said he can't.
Yeah, the guy had to tell him, it's like, "I can't. I'm sorry." But they're doing an interview with the guy, and the guy just starts crying right there, and I'm getting a little choked up just thinking about it.
Poor dude.
It's one of the hardest things to see.
Yeah.
To see a man, who does not benefit from it in any way, who just looks like Santa, who dresses up. It's not like he's a member of an organization. He just dresses up and goes to the children's hospital in his town.
Trying to make them a little bit happier.
Yeah, and to have a kid.
Yeah.
And then have to say that. And then to have to remember that.
Yeah.
to have to retain that
so
for
let's
years.
get a little bit more cheerful. Let's stop getting choked up and move on.
Our top story is not exactly much more cheerful than that.
Well, it is and isn't.
It's interesting. It's Marvel is creating an online create-your-own comic book feature.
Yeah.
The catch for that will be Marvel will own the rights to any stories created using that, which is
BS to me.
But
you get art out there, but if you make anything original, they have the right to it.
Yeah. Which, yeah, alright. It makes sense. Doesn't mean I have to be happy about it, but I don't have a lot to say beyond that. I just thought it was worth mentioning, and frankly, it's a very slow news day. But I think it's interesting that they are creating an online feature that allows you to create your own comic books and use pre-established characters to tell your stories. Because Marvel is so ingrained in the universe aspect in its books, so you can have crossovers that you haven't seen before. Which even brings it back to our main discussion today. But do you have any thoughts on Marvel doing that?
I'm glad they're trying to get people to make comic books, get out there, get their name known. But I would not ever bring my A game. Like, I have a comic book character I want to make, and I just don't have the ability to, after destroying both my wrists and my shoulders, to draw.
Yeah.
Or I would make this character, because I'd like to say I'm a decent writer and a decent artist.
I'd like to say I'm a decent writer. I can't draw worth a damn.
But essentially, I want to make him, and I would never bring him to the table if they're going to have the rights to him.
Yeah.
It's like
that was like
like the creator of Superman, they got so screwed with it.
Uh-huh. Well, also, Tim Burton was working for Disney.
Yeah.
When he came up with the idea for Nightmare Before Christmas, and because he had the idea and because he put it on paper, Disney owned it.
Yeah.
And the only reason that Nightmare Before Christmas got made was because Steven Spielberg had to approach Disney and ask them, hey, you guys have this property that I came up with when I was working for you, and I'm still interested in doing it. Can we make this happen?
Yeah.
I was like, even though it was his idea, he had to go back to them to try and get their permission and support to make it. Which is a pain.
Yeah.
But frankly, if you're working as a writer, or if you're working as even an artist, that's what happens when you work for bigger companies.
Yeah.
And it's a pain, and it's a monopoly, but it's also Disney, so who's shocked?
Which leads into our main topic, doesn't it?
Yeah, that segues pretty well.
Yeah.
Marvel's creating a make-your-own comic book thing online, and we're going to talk about the fact that Disney is undergoing a merger with Fox.
Yes.
In which they will regain the rights to pretty much all of the characters. Not all.
Minus a couple,
not all.
Like Venom, they won't have Venom.
They do not have the Spider-Man villains.
No, they do not.
It's weird.
Not all of them.
That's so weird. They don't have the Spider-Man villains.
They have some.
Okay, then did they get Spider-Man?
I believe they
the Marvel Universe will have the villains in it? Or did they not get Spider-Man and instead they got the villains?
They got Spider-Man and some of the villains. There's some that are different properties, like Venom, which is essentially a different character in its own, which they had in a different proxy.
What was your opinion of Homecoming?
Homecoming was an okay movie. It was not bad nor good. I liked the Amazing Spider-Man more. Controversial.
We can certainly do a podcast centered on some of the Fox.
Yes.
Some of the Fox Marvel properties, because there are a lot of them. To encompass what we're talking about, for those who aren't fully aware, although I'm sure that most of the listeners are, Fox owns a good portion of the Marvel comic book character film rights because when Marvel was going bankrupt, and in order to keep the company afloat and to make some sort of profit,
they sold all their properties off.
Yeah, they sold off their properties mostly to Fox. So Fox owns X-Men,
yep,
Deadpool, Fantastic Four, Ghost. Did Marvel get Ghost Rider back? Or did they just get to use Ghost Rider?
No, they did not. They also they also did not get Spider-Man back. before.
Yeah, Spider-Man, X-Men, and Fantastic Four are the three that really jump at you. But they also
There's also like the Submariner and like multiple others.
Namor?
Yeah, they have Namor.
Huh.
We will be getting him back. We won't be without him anymore.
I know we're actually going to get the rights, which I'm not sure how that happened, for King the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Who is an Avengers villain. He's one of the premier Avengers villains, so I'm not sure how he wound up being sold off to Fox.
Well, a lot of these properties were bought by Fox, and they had to rebuy them back. And there was just some properties that Fox did not want to release, like Spider-Man, or because they did the Tobey Maguire movies that I grew up with.
They've had crossovers going on, like with the Spider-Man stuff. It's like,
yes,
they kind of stopped with their Spider-Man movies, and they decided to let Marvel have the rights for Homecoming, but only for Spider-Man, and only for specific villains, and only if they were heavily involved in the making. I think they were heavily involved in the making of Homecoming.
I think so. I don't. I'm not going to say for certainty, but I think so. I could be wrong, as everybody can.
The best thing for Fox to do would have been to take all of those properties and throw them together in their own little cinematic universe. But I'm sure there are copyright reasons as to why those things couldn't cross over while they were owned by Fox.
You gotta love laws and legality and all these terms that nobody understands but lawyers, and that's why they get paid the big bucks.
But Fox owned Daredevil and Elektra. They got that back previously.
Which is interesting because they can make it now a romance between not Scarlet Witch, but Black Widow and Daredevil because...
I'll believe that when I see it because we haven't had no crossover between the Netflix shows.
But I'm saying they could. They could make... the Netflix shows and the S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'm hoping they show up in Infinity War.
Sorry. The TV shows are a different universe than the movies. They coexist and also don't at the same time. They're very weird.
They are all the same universe. They just don't need to acknowledge each other's existence constantly.
But
Nick Fury shows up in S.H.I.E.L.D., and the events of Captain America Winter Soldier directly affect the events of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, but after the third season, they don't share the same universe anymore.
I'm calling bull?
No, because they go to space.
Because that would literally make me not care.
That's why I don't care at all. Because from what I understand, that they separated the two universes after season 3 or 4 because there was limitations, and now they don't have those limitations.
I want to call bull on that. But I trust you.
It's what I read.
Because I find it really surprising that they would do that. Given that that's what people are so interested in, as far as Marvel goes, is the mass amount of crossover.
Well, I got to season 3.
It's like, they're not crossing over anymore.
I got to season 3 and started reading that, and when I found out about that, I was like, I'm not interested anymore. I don't need any of this anymore. I like the movies more. Frankly,
S.H.I.E.L.D. was kind of boring at points. I hear it gets a lot...
Not kinda, it was very.
I hear it finds its footing really well after the events of Winter Soldier.
Yes.
But, again, I haven't watched past, like, the first 6 episodes of season 1, and I haven't seen any of the...
It's so boring to a degree.
I haven't seen any of the, I will be watching it.
Yeah.
To be clear, it's like, you can badmouth it all you want, but I will be watching these shows...
Feel free
to fill in my own blanks. But I haven't seen any of the Netflix series except for like 5 seconds of Defenders when you were watching it, and Luke Cage.
Yeah, Luke Cage is awesome.
I watched part of Luke Cage. I watched like 6 episodes of Luke Cage. I liked Luke Cage. Luke Cage was great.
They're all that good. I did not like Jessica Jones, only because I don't like the character of Jessica
There's
Jones.
also a Sharon Carter.
The show Jessica Jones. I like the comic book.
There's also a Sharon Carter Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. show?
No, Carter. It's just Carter.
It's just Carter?
Yeah. It's
not Agent Carter?
It could be Agent Carter, but I know it's Carter. It doesn't say Sharon Carter. And that got canceled because it got very boring, very convoluted, very quick.
I'd imagine that was boring immediately.
Yeah, it was.
Here's a story about Captain America Squeeze during the 50s.
Yes, I watched the plot,
care.
and I was like, I immediately do not care about the show anymore.
Yeah.
I try to watch the Legion at least a dozen times. Cannot get into it.
Legion? For DC?
Yeah. No, Legion's Marvel.
No, it's not.
Legion is the son of Xavier. He's above Omega Class Mutant. The Hulu series Legion is his son.
Okay, now I didn't even know I did not know this existed, so walk me through this, because this is something I didn't know was a thing.
There's 12 or 13 episode first season of called The Legion, which is Xavier's son that has 1,000 personalities in his head. Each have a power. He's an above a mega class mutant, more powerful than the Scarlet Witch, Magneto, and Xavier put together.
Here's the thing. I know who Legion is. I just didn't know that he had a show.
The whole show takes place in an insane asylum because he has 1,000 people screaming at him.
And I didn't watch this!
It's on Hulu.
Alright. I didn't know Legion was a thing. I'm gonna watch this. This sounds like, what little you've described of it sounds like it should set me up pretty well for the New Mutants. Okay, because this sounds like it's gonna be like a drama.
Then what we'll do is that after I'm done editing this, we'll watch The Legion, and next week we will be our main discussion.
Legion?
Yeah.
Is the show called Legion?
It's called Legion.
Okay, I'm thinking, what is the DC show where they're time traveling?
Heroes of Tomorrow? No.
No, man, no.
Wow.
Yeah, right. You're the DC guy. I
know,
don't know.
It's like
because when I think Legion, I think Legion of Superheroes, which is the characters in DC from the future. But there's Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow. I knew it was something tomorrow. I was thinking Edge of Tomorrow for some reason.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Tom Cruise. Always Tom Cruise.
You wanna touch Tom Cruise and...
No, I want to touch the girl that was with Tom Cruise. She is beautiful.
Anyway, but okay, I need to watch Is it in canon with?
It is DC right now, show-wise.
What's the other thing? What? DC?
Marvel. Sorry,
Marvel. Right. It's like there's.
I'm messing up like you did.
Okay, there's Legion. All right, there's this whole thing going on with the X-Men right now.
Yeah.
Where we have Dark Phoenix coming.
The movie.
But beyond that, we have New Mutants. Is that a show or a movie?
Show.
Okay, then we have New Mutants. Then we have the show where it's about mutants, but they're talking about the X-Men like they may or may no longer exist.
No, all their parents. They're the teens, right, with the powers.
I think so.
All their parents are supervillains.
Okay, that's an entirely different thing than what I'm talking about. Okay. So that's another thing. Why? Are these Marvel Studios?
Yeah, they're all from Marvel.
We have a good friend. We play at his house every 2 weeks. We play. Yep. I run my D&D game at his place, and he's a big X-Men fan. So I'm sure that he's much more educated on all of these things. I've talked to him all this.
He knows.
I have not. So that being said, you've got New Mutants.
Yep.
You've got this Legion show thing that's going on. You've got Dark Phoenix.
It's been out. It's all the episodes are out.
You've got the show where
all their parents are supervillains. That one.
Then you've got the show where it's these teens who are like on the run with their families.
Yeah, not with their families, with a family.
It is with a family?
I've seen it. It's still airing on Fox right now.
I'm pretty sure that one is the one with the I think his name might be Tomahawk.
Yeah, Tomahawk.
The guy with the blades, the X-Men with the blades.
Yep, and also the guy that shoots light out of his hands, the one that can short distance teleport, open rifts, and one that is telekinetic.
Oh, there's this whole X-Men thing going on, and that was completely flying underneath my radar. I thought they only had like 2 or 3 things going on right now. No,
they have like half a dozen.
That's 5 things right now, maybe 6 if there's something else that I'm not aware of.
Most likely is. Because that's not even mentioning the other Marvel stuff.
Is that stuff Marvel Studios? Do you know?
Yeah, they're Marvel. Fox? They're Marvel Studios.
So all of those things are Marvel Studios properties.
They're Marvel and Fox.
So I guess the question would be: are they in continuity with the other Marvel's things?
Yes, because the Fox only owns the X-Men, doesn't own the.
Oh yeah, that's a good distinction to make. That's why New Mutants is not a problem.
Mutants. They don't own every mutant. They own the X-Men.
They own the mutants care about.
Yeah, they own like Cyclops or Wolverine.
You know how much
that Jean Grey.
You know how much that sucks.
Or Colossus.
I am such a big fan of Cyclops, and
or Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
She is Fox, but I like Cyclops. I do. He's like prick Captain America.
Very much so.
And they do him no respect at all in the live-action X-Men movies. Like, he's there for the first one, he's there for part of the second one, and then he gets mind-controlled for, like, half the film. And then in the third one, he's there for, like, 5 minutes before they kill him off.
Yeah.
And I don't feel bad about X-Men spoilers here, because, frankly...
It's been out forever.
If you're listening to the show, you should be enough of a nerd that you know the ending to X-Men 3... as well as why it makes everybody so mad.
Last Stand is the last straw.
Well, it's why I like Days of Future Past so much, is because it fixed
Retcons it. Destroys it.
It fixed it.
It's like, yeah, all that didn't happen. Everything's different now.
And I'm so happy that the dude who played Cyclops was willing to come back to reprise his role for that ending sequence in Days of Future Past. It's like, dude, you are such a bro. But
thanks for the closure.
They must have told him, like, look, we know X-Men 3 was terrible, and you got the short end of the stick in that movie, but this is us trying to fix it. Will you come back?
He was like,
just for like a 5-minute sequence, we'll give you cool sunglasses, you can be on screen with Logan and everybody again, and we'll pay you. And he's like, you're paying me? Because frankly, I don't think that guy's been in anything else.
He's been in one or two things. He's been in a couple romance movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Couldn't have called that.
He's an actor. He has a somewhat broad range. He's an okay actor. I wouldn't say he's the best, but he's okay.
So there's a lot of... We're iffy about who owns the rights to all of these X-Men titles.
It's a lot of legality.
But that being said, hopefully Marvel and specifically Disney and Fox merging will help solve that problem considerably. And then we have Spider-Man, which is also in just as much of a gray area right now as we discussed with the villains. It's like, I think Marvel Studio has the rights to the villains?
Yes.
But Fox retains the rights to Spider-Man, or the other way around. And then whoever has the rights to the villains are going to try to make their own Spider-Man villain universe by itself.
Yeah.
I swear that's what's supposed to be happening.
That's what Fox is trying to do right now.
Yeah, that's... Fox, just
stop.
Just stop. It's okay. You tried. You gave us a lot of interesting movies. Let it go. I mean, thank you for your contributions. We were all big fans of Spider-Man when it came out. But you can let it go now.
I mean, they don't even own any Venom. Which is the white Venom version that cures cancer.
Venom is getting a movie. Black Cat's getting a movie.
Yeah, but they can't even use the good guy version of Venom.
I think they are.
They only have the bad guy version.
They're using
do not
Eddie.
have the good guy version. Eddie Brock becomes a good guy later.
Yeah.
But it's two different versions. They only own one.
You have to be specific in what you're talking about.
They own the bad guy Venom. They don't own the good guy Venom, which is two different characters.
They own the rights. They own villain Venom.
Yes.
Okay.
Not hero Venom, which is two different characters.
Does it matter, frankly, how they portray the character if they have the rights to use a character's name? Because it's not like a lot of those characters resemble what they're supposed to be.
It does change to a degree, because if they use the good guy version...
I know a thing or
Venom,
two about movies.
They have to pay royalties to Marvel. That's what I believe.
So let me get this straight.
They own the bad guys.
They own the bad guys, but they're making their own villain universe.
Yeah.
I would have to disagree with you on that, but I don't know the specifics of licensing legality.
This is from what I understand. I could be wildly wrong, to reiterate.
Because I'm pretty sure there is...
I could be completely wrong, 100%. But from what I understand.
It's okay if that's the case, but it's like, I'm pretty sure I saw the trailer, and they're going with the heroic Eddie Brock back from the war, lost his legs.
Yeah.
Decides
he's
to merge
a bad
with
guy. He was a bad guy for so long, too.
No, I'm saying that's the hero story for Eddie. Is that he comes back from the war, he's lost his legs, they offer him, the government, the Thunderbolts, who's run by Norman Osborn, who is a conclave of villains who later in the comics become evil versions of the Avengers, run by the Iron Patriot, who is a jacked version of Iron Man and Captain America, with Norman Osborn in the suit.
Oh, God. Very convoluted.
Went off on a very quick tangent for the dark age of comics. But the Thunderbolts approach him and they give Eddie the opportunity. It's like, you can continue to serve your country in this way. Do you want to do this? And he says yes. So it's it's almost Venom becomes this government sanctioned supervillain.
Where he gets away.
Gets away? No, he works for him.
He works for them for a while. Yeah, but he breaks ties and he goes to space and comes back. Yeah, he was the Guardian of the Galaxy. He's a Guardian.
When?
Recent. He was a Guardian.
Because the whole thing with Venom, this was like the last few years.
The last 2 years, he was a Guardian and then came back to Earth.
Sure you're not thinking of Iron Man?
No, I'm thinking Venom because he also gets anti-Venom at that point.
Like 2 years ago, Iron Man was with the Guardians too.
Yeah, and I saw a cover not too long ago and read the actual. He was a good guy as a substitute member of the Guardians.
That's stupid.
Very, but Venom symbiote is also from space.
I feel the need to fact check some of this stuff because it's just too dumb to be real.
Comic books, man. But yeah, no, he went to space and he was a Guardian at one point.
Yeah, that's the X-Men situation, which they're all over the map.
Yeah.
That's the Spider-Man situation. They're all over the map.
We get Victor Von Doom back.
And we're moving into Fantastic Four, which you've got the original 2 films.
Which were better than the Fan Four Stick in my case.
I like Fan Four Stick. I like the portrayal of Doom, but not if it's supposed to be Doom.
Yeah.
Fan Four Stick is an okay movie if you look at it from 2 points of view. 1, this is Ultimate Fantastic Four. And 2, that's not Marvel's premier villain, Dr. Doom.
Okay.
It's Ultimate Doom, which frankly, Ultimate Doom kind of sucks.
Okay.
He's also a kid. He's the same age as Reed, and Reed is, frankly, he's not old in the Ultimate Universe. He's like 14.
I've never really read the Ultimates, but I know enough of it to where I can somewhat agree and disagree at the same time.
The Ultimates were my introduction to Marvel.
Please tell me Spider-Man Ultimates was...
I did not read Ultimate Spider-Man. I've read a little bit of... Okay. I basically read the Fantastic Four, Ultimate Fantastic Four, up until the zombie arc. Like, they had a crossover with Marvel Zombies, and I jumped ship.
Ultimate Spider-Man is one of my favorite runs in comic books.
It has a lot of really positive reviews.
Yes.
I have not brought myself to read it yet.
It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite.
I have a book of Ultimate Spider-Man.
It's worth the compendium.
It is. I picked it up specifically because it was a crossover with the Ultimates, like the Avengers version.
Oh, okay.
In the Ultimate Universe, the Avengers are called the Ultimates.
Okay.
So, it's that book. I also have the X-Men one where they cross over, Fantastic Four one where they cross over.
It's a great run. It's a good series of books.
Yeah, Fantastic Four was not great. It was better than X-Men. Ultimate X-Men was terrible. Ultimate X-Men made me legitimately uncomfortable.
No, I can understand why. Especially with
I have no interest in
Cyclops being such a dickmonger.
Well, it's not that Cyclops was a prick, it's that it became about the sexual relationship love triangle of Logan, Jean Grey, and Cyclops, which
weird from the beginning.
Frankly, Jean Grey's kind of really, the cause of that. I'm trying to come up with a nice way of saying that she's, that. I'm trying to keep the podcast families friendly, and she dresses that way too, and frankly...
She should have put defined parameters down.
It makes me uncomfortable. The comics made me uncomfortable.
Very much so.
So... Back to the movies. You had the first 2 Fantastic Four movies and then Fan Four Stick.
Yep.
Fan Four Stick is enjoyable, it's just not Fantastic Four.
No, it is not.
When we get... First of all, when Marvel gets the rights to Fantastic Four back...
We'll get a proper Fantastic Four.
Maybe we'll get an actual Reed Richards as opposed to this 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
They weren't far off from it in the first 2 movies.
But
it's the wrong actor.
Yeah.
You know, he does a good job, but the portrayal that they were going for was not... Oh, excuse me. The portrayal they were going for was not Reed.
No.
Reed Richards is this... The Fantastic Four are explorers. You know? They don't fight people in the streets like the Avengers.
No, they quite literally
They go to
explore
different
space.
dimensions. They go into space. You know, and that's what they're... That's one of the reasons I like Fanforstic, because that's there. They have that element. The Fantastic Four are involved in this experiment where they are going to go and explore this new... The Negative Zone.
Exactly.
Is what it's called.
Going back to the second movie, we're going to have Galactus back also.
Galactus and the Silver
Which
Surfer?
I hope to Jeebus that we get a proper Galactus and Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer was done somewhat well. Galactus was a giant dark cloud, which is BS.
Yeah, no. That made a lot of people angry. That made a lot of people angry.
The Devourer Worlds is a giant, sentient, humanoid-looking creature.
That's what Marvel has consistently got. That's what Marvel Studios has consistently gotten right.
Yes.
Compared to what other comic book movie makers have not gotten right, is that they have just done it.
Yes.
It's like, it's in the comic books. It is this way. There are different interpretations across the different runs, sure, but they are all pretty similar. Galactus always looks somewhat like this.
Yes. Which they need to get back to.
So, Marvel Studio's still doing that.
No, I'm talking about like not Final Fantasy, but Fox. They'll finally be able to get back to it.
Yeah, it's like, if they have Marvel Studios running it, then it's going to be like, just do it the way it's supposed to be.
No.
Do it the way the comics did it, because that's why people are enjoying the Marvel movies, is because they're just doing what it is. Because they know people like that.
I will say
it's
this.
It's proven. The comic books have been around for 70 years.
Yeah.
People like the comic books. Just do the comic books.
I will say this. Doctor Strange's Dormammu did not look like Dormammu.
I actually don't know a lot about Doctor Strange.
Dormammu is a humanoid the size of a little bit bigger than Doctor Strange. He has a flaming head, skull in it, or something like that, and he uses a lot of magic. He wasn't the giant creature that you saw at the end.
He wasn't so much of a cosmic entity.
No, he was not. No, he's a cosmic entity, but he's just not so big.
I wasn't crazy about Doctor Strange until he put on his gloves. Literally. Like, the entire movie, I was like, that's not Doctor Strange. Something doesn't look right. And we got to the final act, and I'm like, he doesn't have his gloves.
And now...
Because Doctor Strange has these big yellow gloves to cover up his scars. And it doesn't look right. And then you get to the final part of the movie where he's talking to Thor, and he's wearing the gloves. And I'm like, sold.
I'm down.
You did it right.
You're Doctor Strange now.
Yep, you are not Doctor Strange until you put on those gloves, but...
You need the eye back, but still.
Yeah, you do need the eye. He needs the eye, but... Frankly, Doctor Strange's design is just so cool.
I wonder how he's going to get it back from the Infinity Gauntlet. Because the Infinity Gauntlet has to get the Reality Gem at some point.
Well, that's a good segue.
Time Gem at some point.
It's a good segue into... Do we think that Marvel is headed toward a universe-wide reboot?
I believe that they could do a soft reboot with the Gauntlet.
I do too. In fact, Infinity War is specifically the event that lends itself to resetting some things.
And making it believable enough.
Because it will certainly allow for dead characters to resurface during the movies.
Yes.
Like Quicksilver and other characters who are dead. Specifically, Quicksilver's the one I'm interested
in. Maybe
in.
Thanos is like, you know what? I'm going to make this a challenge. Because he's trying to impress Lady Death.
We don't know that's the plot in the movie. Frankly, that would be stupid if that was the plot in the movie.
I will say this. At the end of Avengers 1, that he did say...
challenge them is to court death, and he smiles.
Yes.
He gives the real Thanos smile and shows his face for the first time. I view that as more of a nod to the audience.
I hope.
Because introducing...
The way I took that was that it was literally him courting Lady Death.
Okay, here is my theory. And everybody listening to this, because I have not told DK this theory yet. Everyone listening to this, it can be on record that I had this idea January 2nd. My theory is that he likes Hela.
Okay.
And they will be incorporating Hela the goddess of death into Infinity War in that way.
Now, I will say this.
They will be swapping, because Lady Death is her own character in Marvel Comics.
Yes.
She has a heavy crush and involvement with Deadpool.
Lady Death and Hela, Goddess of Death, are two widely different characters.
They are completely different characters, but I feel like those two could be swapped and have it work. Because introducing the incarnated version of Death into the Marvel Universe completely out of the blue is, frankly, they would break the movie. It would break the universe. It's like, that's stupid. You can't just bring that up out of nowhere. However, you've established that Thor is a god, and yet he's still an alien, and then his last villain was Hela, who's the goddess of death, who could very easily be worked into to fill that role if they go that route. But I don't think they're even going to go that route.
Well,
that is my speculation.
A
speculation is if they want to go some sort of Lady Death route, they will be using Hela in some way.
Well, in a few months, 4 or 5 months, we will know.
Definitely. When's it come out?
May.
Really?
Yep.
5 months. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Less than half
I didn't
a
know
year.
it was that close. Okay.
May of 2018 and May of 2019.
Even if they go that route, they might not incorporate it until they get to the second movie.
Yeah, fair. That is a fair enough point.
But so that's my theory regarding Hela and Death. But also we can talk about the actors whose contracts are up, including Chris Evans and long since Robert Downey Jr. The only reason
yes.
Robert Downey Jr.'s contract has been up for a while. He just agreed to come back.
Because he likes the movie,
Yeah.
doing the movies, and he also says that being Iron Man has helped him be away from drugs.
That's good to know.
He contributes being Iron Man to his sobriety.
That's really cool. That's amazing.
Yep.
Because Iron Man's whole thing in the comics is that he's
an
alcoholic. That's...
Yeah. That is ironic justice.
That made me
poetic justice.
You telling me that made me so happy.
It's poetic justice.
That's life imitating art imitating life.
Yeah.
That's spectacular. I love that. So I love Robert Downey Jr. now. It's like I'm sober and I'm not doing drugs because I'm playing a character who's sober and not doing drugs because he has that same problem as me.
Also,
that was the whole thing during Civil War, is that he was sober before Civil War and he did everything in his power not to touch anything. And he didn't. He didn't touch anything. You know, he really wanted to. He even poured himself a glass.
Much so.
He poured himself a glass. I'm talking about the comic book. He poured himself a glass, and then Sue Storm shows up to try and confront him, and he throws the glass down and he punches through a window and scares her. You know? It's just Tony Stark. He's not wearing armor. And this is the Invisible Woman. Yeah. You know, she has the ability to turn invisible and create impenetrable force fields around people. And Tony Stark throws down his... I don't think he throws it down. I think he sets it down, but he gets so angry that he punches through a glass window and cuts his arm open. You know? And it's such a good scene because they're friends, you know?
Yeah.
The characters are friends, and despite the fact that she's the Invisible Woman and he's Iron Man, him doing that scared her.
Because it's out of character.
It's not out of character so much as she didn't realize how much this was hurting him.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that. A lot of people look at Iron Man and were like, "You're a dick," during Civil War. A lot of people were like, "You're a complete prick." And a lot of people after Civil War really hated Iron Man. And it's like, there were books where it was just Iron Man and Captain America talking.
Yep.
There were 2 comics specifically. They're some of my favorite comics that I've ever read outside of the Transformers books where Optimus and Megatron have a sit-down. And they start talking about, "Hey, you remember that time I locked you in gun form? Yeah, that really sucked. I was in gun form prime for like 100 years.
Gun form!
Gun form prime!
And then they start laughing.
And then they both laugh about it. And it's like, yeah, that's... But there's scenes where, you know, Captain America's lost the Civil War. He's in a cell. Iron Man comes in and talks to him. And then the second one is... It's mirroring that. And Iron Man comes in to talk to him again, and you don't see until the very end of the comic that this is after the shooting.
Yeah.
This is after Crossbones has assassinated Captain America. So, this whole comic, Tony Stark is sitting there, and he's taken off his helmet where he didn't take off his helmet before. in the first comic. But he takes off his helmet and he just starts talking to Steve. And by the end of it, he's crying. He is breaking down like a baby. He is completely broken by the fact that his friend is dead now. Yeah. And it's partly his fault. You know? And a lot of people blamed him for making it a public trial, but it's like, he wanted it to be a public trial.
He wanted
Steve wanted that, you know? But Tony wanted that too, but it's like, I love Marvel.
Yeah. I like on a totally different note, but something similar to that, DC...
Help me get back to the main thing.
No, we're going further away.
Okay, alright.
DC did a full volume of Batman when Damian died for the first time.
I remember that.
And
I didn't
not
read
a single word was said in the whole comic book.
A single issue or
it was a single issue.
6-issue run?
It was a single issue. And through the whole 20-something pages, he did not say... No one said a single word in it.
Silent comics.
It was a silent comic of showing how Batman was not handling it well.
Batman's known for that. Like, there's a whole comic about Batman during the Court of the Owl story arc. Frankly, there's a lot of really good Batman comics from the first year of DC. But the entire comic is kind of a I was going to say deconstruction of Batman's psyche, and it is. But it's more like you're getting into Batman's head.
Yeah.
And frankly, he's trapped in an underground maze with zombie bird people. So he's
not doing so well.
There are moments, the way you read the comic, there are moments where you turn it on its side, but by the time you're done, you've turned the comic 360 degrees in your hands. You know, you've read things in a spiral pattern.
Wow.
And it's like, that's one of the coolest things, is that you during the comic, to read the panels on one page, you have to turn the comic 300...
Like a wheel.
Yes. And it's really... Because it's a spiral.
Wow.
Right? It's a really... That's what comics can do that films can't.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people have issue with comic books concerning. It's like, comics don't really do anything movie can't. That was weird. Comics don't really do anything that movies can't. Wrong.
Yeah, very much so.
Comics can do some really amazing visual stuff.
I will tell you this. There's light novels that have been adapted to mangas and animes all in one, and I still prefer the light novel because it's so much more detailed and better.
Yeah.
Everything on screen has to be limited because they can only show so much.
There's also the aspect of when you're reading a light novel, you're picturing it in your mind.
Exactly.
And what you picture in your mind is
will be better than anything you'll ever see.
Yeah, it's so much better than what they can show you, and that's why Jaws works. I've always loved that philosophy of, it doesn't matter what we show you the shark doing, it will never be as cool as what you're imagining the shark is doing.
Yes.
The real reason why they didn't show you what the shark was doing, by the way,
is because the animatronic broke all the time.
Yeah, because the animatronic would break as soon as they got it a little wet.
Which defeats the purpose of an electronic shark that is only water. This ain't Sharknado, people.
Really terrible,
but
ugly,
reeling it back to
stupid-looking sharks. CG sharks!
Running it. It's like CGI Baby from Twilight.
Oh,
roll it back in. Okay, so...
Fantastic Four.
Final thoughts on the Fantastic Four.
Which...
I'm
trying to think if there are any more interesting Fantastic Four villains. I can't really think of any besides Mole Man. Frankly, Galactus is kind of the
go-to
Fantastic Four villain, but
he is the Fantastic Four villain.
No, Dr. Doom is.
No, I mean like the biggest threat.
Dr. Doom is Galactus is the biggest threat in the Marvel universe, frankly, outside of things like the Phoenix Force and other Celestials.
Phoenix Force?
I can't speak, alright? Quit teasing me.
The Phoenix Force and Thanos are the two biggest problems, because with Thanos...
There are other Celestials, like the Beyonder, and frankly, Legion is a big threat in Marvel, but they tend to have dealt with him.
Usually by the Legion removing his own existence.
He neutralizes his own threat.
He talks to his dad Xavier, and Xavier explains what in the future what the Legion causes, and Legion goes back in time and removes himself from reality.
Hold on. Are you talking about I think you're talking about someone else.
No, I'm talking about
what's his
Charles'
name?
son
He
Legion.
changes his name in the future. What is it?
I'm not talking about him. I'm talking
That's
about
him.
the Legion.
That's him. I forgot that for a minute, but that's who he grows up to be. He grows up to be. I don't think it's not. He's this big blue guy. It's not
him.
Apocalypse.
It is not him. Legion is a...
Then who am I thinking of? You're going to tell me I'm wrong. Because I don't know who I'm thinking of.
I don't know the name of it.
There's a character who is in the future. He's a cyborg. He comes back and becomes the Vision for a while. It's not Apocalypse. He is an X-Men character who comes back in time.
The Immortal? No.
He's inside of one of the Vision's bodies as a child for a while.
No, that's not the Legion. The Legion is Xavier's son that has a really big forehead and hair stands up straight. In the show, it's different. But
and imagine the show doesn't look anything like the book.
Essentially, what Legion does in the future that he stops himself from doing is become the biggest nuke in the world, destroying all life on the planet. Essentially, all livable life. It's like Book of Eli on the planet.
Oh, that's nice. I don't know who I'm thinking of. I'm pretty positive it's not Apocalypse, but I don't remember who it is.
There's...
I'm gonna let it go.
Not Mysterio, but
it's a Spider-Man movie.
The Master. He's the pale guy with the gem on his forehead. I forget his name, but he has a lot of powers that he's a lot of powers, and he's also the servant of Apocalypse in a lot of the adaptations of it. I forget his name. I did a fun fact with him in it. I think I'm thinking about Mr. Sinister. That's who. Mr. Sinister he puts all his powers come from the gem on his head. It's like a third eye. It's a gateway.
Yeah. I was thinking of... What's the guy? Hunger for Plasma?
Apocalypse?
No. I think I'm thinking of Apocalypse.
Okay.
But when you said guy with a gem on his head, for some reason my mind went to Morbius.
Hemoglobin?
I hunger for plasma! But
oh,
yeah,
God.
I think I'm thinking of Future Apocalypse.
Okay.
But there's a lot of weird time travel stuff going on with the X-Men. Whoever it is, it's who Cable fights in the future. And then the character comes back in time and takes over the body of the Vision.
Really? Okay.
And takes on this, like, child aspect of being the Vision. And then he's in the school. He's currently going to Xavier's school. Not as the Vision anymore. He's in a different body. But, it's like everybody pretty much knows that's who the guy is.
And they just do nothing.
But he's the child, right? So he's still the kid.
Still innocent.
Yeah.
Just enough gray zones where they won't do nothing.
Anyway, for some reason I think that's Apocalypse, but I feel like Apocalypse has been around longer than that. He's the villain from the future, but I'm letting it go. Do we have anything else to say? Like
not
speculation?
Maybe? Not for me. I really just want to discuss what we did know. Wasn't too much, but it was enough for me.
If the characters are going to be recast for the listeners, it certainly stands to reason that the Infinity Gauntlet would make that possible.
Yes.
So
different versions.
We could get a new actor to play Captain America. Frankly, I don't think that's
Bucky. I hope it's Bucky.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I don't think it's going to be necessary to recast Steve Rogers because during my time reading comics, most of the time during my time reading comics, Captain America was Bucky.
Yes.
I got to read... Basically, my run of comics spans Avengers Disassembled and the Siege event.
Okay.
And I read pretty much everything you can think of in between for Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, and all the different Avengers books.
Okay. That's quite a bit, actually.
That's a good 6 years worth of constant material.
Yeah, I need about 6 or 7 years of myself with DC.
I need to dip into the... I hear the Fantastic Four run during that time is also very good, so I need to dip into that. But I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
Something about...
Right, Bucky was Captain America during
yes.
most of my time reading Marvel Comics, and that was very interesting. Black Widow got to play a more prolific role, in those. I don't know how many more films Scarlett Johansson is slated for. I think Nick Fury is slated for a significant number of...
Samuel Jackson?
Sam Jackson is slated for more films. And he hasn't been in any for a while.
Yeah, they're saving him. They're trying to keep him on a contract still.
We can recast... As much as I like the guy, I almost don't want to say this now, because I was going into this podcast with the intention of saying this. Now that I know what I know about him, I don't want to say this now, but we can recast Robert Downey Jr. Because frankly, he's getting a little old to be Tony Stark.
Yes, but he absolutely loves being Tony Stark.
He is Tony Stark. You know, there's no two ways about that.
No, he is definitely the perfect character.
He's the perfect guy to be him, but again, he's getting up there. So he can
still play it off though. Enough. He can play it enough towards believable.
For another decade? Because that's what we're talking about here. You think he can pull off Tony Stark for another decade?
I believe he can play it till he's 50.
How old is he right now? He's in his 40s.
He's 42, 43.
I love the guy. I really do.
He's perfect Iron Man.
Especially given what you just told me about him. It's like the fact that being in the Marvel movies...
42, 43.
Yeah, being in the Marvel movies is helping him stay sober. It's like, that's amazing. Especially when you consider the source material. It's like, that's awesome.
He contributes his sobriety away from drugs and alcohol from being Iron Man.
Yeah. It's like, I if we can keep him, I'd love to keep him, but...
Chris Evans, I'd love to see him still as Iron Man. I mean, as Captain America.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love that. But
he is Captain America. It's just like Downey Jr. It's like
the Captain America.
You can't cast anyone better than those guys.
No, you can't. They're even friends off screen, which is amazing.
Yeah. Well, they all kind of get along pretty well from what I hear. But, yeah. The Infinity War event will lend itself very well to rebooting aspects of the universe so that mutants could exist
very much
in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And certain people might be able to be recast.
Yes.
I don't know how.
I hope they leave Wolverine out. Logan was the perfect Wolverine.
I think they need a new Wolverine.
I'm not Logan, but you know what I mean.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman was the perfect Logan / Wolverine.
Hugh Jackman was Wolverine for 10 years.
Perfect Wolverine from my point of view.
He was perfect for Wolverine, I agree. But that doesn't mean we can't get a better Wolverine.
Yes.
I certainly don't know who I'd cast, but maybe we can get the short, grizzled Wolverine who actually acts kind of feral.
I'd be fine with that.
Wolverine was too tall. Wolverine's short.
Wolverine's supposed to be 5'5".
Yeah, he's a short little guy in the comics, and he's always down.
345 pounds because of the animanium. He's 5'5", 345 pounds because of the animanium. Without the animanium, when he had bone claws, he was $175.
Huh. Yeah, he was tiny.
Yeah.
And he's tiny in the comics, but
$175 that's sheer muscle.
That's another really good thing that's going to come of this, is that we're getting the comics back.
Yeah.
Do you know how excited
X-Men?
They're all already dead.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they're going to stop
Cyclops
killing the comic books.
Wolverine's been dead for a while. They left it open for him to maybe come back, but they weren't going to bring him back until they got the rights back to him, because frankly, why would we promote your movie?
Exactly.
For free.
When we're trying to get it back.
I don't know if that was so much as it was just...
Spite?
Well, no, not spite. It's just like, we're not going to promote this character to try and make you money.
Exactly.
You know? We're not going to put effort into making these characters popular because, frankly, that's just giving money to you. It's all business.
Very much so.
But we're going to get the comics back.
Which are
and
nice.
I'm super excited about that because that's... I haven't been reading Marvel because I've been waiting... I jumped out after Siege, but I've been waiting for a good place to jump back in.
Which might be very soon. Because
you can't read comics nonstop. You will become the most bitter, jaded person.
Broke.
Depends on how much you're reading. If you're not crazy with it...
If you're reading everything, you're broke.
If you're reading everything, you're stupid, and you have way too much free time.
And money.
But if you're reading, 2 or 3 books, you know, not a week.
A week or two. Bi-weekly.
Most comics are weekly. Not weekly. Most comics are...
Bi-weekly or monthly.
If they're bi-weekly, they're weird. Most comics are monthly. Spider-Man was bi-weekly, and that's weird.
Yeah.
But it was also very popular at the time. Most comics are a month. So, if you're reading like 4 or 5 books, that's about
$20.
$20 a month. It's not that much of an expensive hobby.
No.
$20 a month for 4 really good stories, and then you get to keep your books and have your little collection is fun. It's nice, and it's a great outlet for OCD. I speak from experience.
I have comic books that I've bought. I have comic books that my dad's given me, and also have some that were gifted to me from other people. And trust me, when I see that my dad's collection is over thousands of books, because he'd buy 6 or 7 a week,
mm-hmm.
and then would buy that 4 weeks.
Oh, the olden days, the golden times.
Yeah. He still does that.
I remember
He'll go home
those
every
times
week with a couple, like 3 or 4 books.
That's not that bad.
He spends about $20 a week.
That's a lot. I don't know what your dad makes. It's none of my business. It's none of the listeners' business.
None of my business either.
But
I'm just like from what I can see is he likes comic books, which is not a bad thing. That's his outlet. It's not like I spent $60 on a video game. You know, I can't say anything.
But I mean, my point is that I've been waiting for a good point to jump back onto Marvel. And usually if you don't understand what's happening in a comic book, you are hesitant to jump back in.
Oh, very much so.
So the trick is for me to have let enough time elapse so that the stories are so disconnected that I don't have to worry about everything that happens between Siege and when I jump back in.
Yeah. It's understandable.
Which, frankly, not much has happened worth note between those 2 dots on that timeline.
It's still better than Superior Spider-Man.
What'd you have? You had Avengers vs. X-Men.
1 and 2.
Fear itself. The Avengers vs. X-Men again.
Yep.
And then like the new. What is it? They did a reboot like DC. Secret Wars.
Yeah. No, it was Secret Wars.
Secret Wars. Then yeah, that was silly too.
Oh, sorry.
I'm hoping that Secret Wars created enough of a disconnect so that I can jump in. But,
hopefully it goes well.
That being said, I would be happy to jump into some of the books that I've never really explored yet, like Fantastic Four. I've never read X-Men. I'd like to read X-Men. It's just they get so convoluted and stuck in the racism of it.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to read a book that's all about hate crime.
Yeah.
I don't.
I completely understand. We get enough that in real life.
Especially in a universe where, the Fantastic Four and the Avengers are running around. It's
and
like
the X-Men are the problem.
The X-Men...
Like, what?
Yeah, mutants are discriminated against when those guys are running around. It's like you realize the mutants are the next step of human evolution, and those guys are test tube freaks, right?
Yeah.
You realize that, right?
It's like one's natural, one's not.
Why do you like Captain America when he came out of a bottle, whereas these guys are what we are supposed to be becoming? Racism doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
That was the basis of the stories when they were created, was it's about prejudice. It's about being a teen and being introduced to that.
But when they were created, it was more believable because there was a lot of accepted prejudice back then.
Well, maybe that'll give it a foothold in today's society, because there's a lot of really uncomfortable prejudice that doesn't make sense in today's society, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of prejudice and there's a lot of hate.
I'm not happy about that either.
Me either.
Anyway.
People just be people and shut up and be happy. Stop picking on each other.
Disney's, please, people, be nice.
Just whoever your neighbor is, go bake him a cake.
Love thy neighbor. Anyway.
But don't go too far being stalkerish. So,
stop, let it
what's
go.
next?
Let it go.
What's next? I believe it's our listener question, right?
Yeah, that I guess that pretty much brings an end to our
main discussion.
Somewhat ranty discussion about Fox and Disney merging. And we can go ahead and jump into it's kind of a simple listener question today. It is, what is your favorite long-running shonen anime?
Okay, so...
And
we're going to say it has to be 100 episodes at least.
Yeah, we're going to preface this by saying that the show needs to be at least 100 episodes, and that we're going to mention our favorite, and then have a runner-up. So we can have an honorable mention, but we have to pick a favorite.
Okay, we'll do our honorable mentions first, and then I'll tell mine. You tell yours.
All right, go ahead.
Mine is Yu Yu Hakusho, and simply because I like the story between Yusuke and his chickadee in it. Also, his friends Kuwabara. And I'm spaced on the names. I know them, but like Kiba. Wow. I need to rewatch that now.
I've never watched it, so I'd watch it with you.
I grew up with it.
I believe I've said that on the podcast before. I watched the first chunk of episodes where he's hanging out with the girl on the broomstick.
Botan.
Botan. I like Botan.
The Grim Reaper.
I like I like the baby god, too. God.
Yeah, no, he's not a baby god. He's just taking that form. It's really...
Puppy monkey baby god.
Oh, God, no. But that's my runner-up. I'm spaced on the names.
Let's see. I don't know any of their names. What is the guy's name with the black hair and the white streak? We're still on Yu Yu Hakusho, so calm yourself,
I think
DK.
it's Hiei.
I like Kuwabara.
Kuwabara's the guy with the orange hair.
And the kitten.
And then there's
Aikichi!
Hiro, I think.
Aikichi
is cat.
There are, do you know there are mirrors between Yu Yu Hakusho and Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yes. Very
they're
slight.
there.
Very
they're there.
slight, but they're there.
Yeah.
Yu Yu Hakusho is my go-to happy ending that... like my current D&D character, I got a lot of inspiration from him. Yusuke. Spoilers. This came out in 97, but spoilers.
I haven't seen it, so... I
There's
still haven't seen Cowboy Bebop, though, so I'm not the quintessential
you.
example of people who are up to date.
I will not ruin it for you, but there is demon-esque people in it, and it involves the main story.
Yeah. I know there is a demon conflict in hell. That's like a tournament.
Yes,
those are literally...
spoil it, because we're going to watch that.
Okay, those are literally the only words that I know, though, is that there is a tournament in hell. I don't know what that means, but it's pretty self-explanatory.
Think Dragon Ball Z tournament, but whoever wins rules hell.
Okay.
And I believe that's me covering Yu Yu Hakusho, so it's your go.
Runner-ups first?
Yep.
It's hard for me to pick between these two. Frankly, I'm not up to date with the one that I'm leaning toward being my favorite. But I also really like the other one. But I haven't finished it to completion either because I stopped when I realized it ended on a cliffhanger. I'm gonna go with... These are interchangeable for me.
That's a bit of a jip, but okay.
It's a bit of a jip, but... That being said, I like both of them for different reasons. I'm gonna have to say my runner-up is One Piece.
Oh, God.
My runner-up's One Piece. I love One Piece. DK does not like One Piece for the same reason he does not like Ruby, in that you don't like the art for One Piece. Which is a shared opinion among a lot of people. A lot of people don't like the One Piece art.
I know a lot of the story of One Piece. I know a lot of the art from One Piece, and I don't like either.
That's fair. That's your opinion.
It's very gag-esque, and there's some serious points to it, but it's just not enough.
I'm surprised someone who dealt with Fairy Tail and Naruto for as long as you did couldn't follow through with a story as strong as One Piece's.
Fairy Tail was hard to stay along with.
Really?
I
wouldn't watch Fairy Tail. I could tell Fairy Tail was gonna blow.
Fairy Tail was not a gag anime so much as that there was characters that were very gag-ish.
Yeah, I may have made a lot of...
There's a difference between One Piece. One Piece is gag anime that has serious points, where One Piece is serious points that has gag.
One Piece isn't a gag anime.
It is to a high degree. It's even considered that to a degree in Japan, from what I understand. It's one of those...
Okay, alright, whatever.
It's a comedian. It's centered around comedy.
It has elements of comedy, but I think its strongest points are its drama. That's why when you're watching One Piece and the characters are making the ugly, ugly faces that they make when they cry that everybody knows from GIFs and stuff, you're with them when they're making those faces. You're not thinking, wow, that's ugly art. You're thinking, wow, I feel their pain.
I will say
because they get it across.
I understand that point of view, and I respect it. I'm just in a different state.
That's totally fair. But I will defend One Piece. There will not be a conversation where I don't defend One Piece.
I tried reading the manga, and I got 100 and I was like, I am done.
Yeah.
This is the worst.
If we're being honest, and this is the reason why I was iffy about which I wanted to be my runner-up and which I wanted to be my core, I burnt out on One Piece.
Yeah.
You know, I did. I got 250 episodes in, which is true for any shonen anime I've watched. I get to about 250 episodes and just have to stop. It's like, I am so tired of forcing myself to get through this.
It's not getting better.
It's not that it's bad, it's just nothing but this for 250 episodes worth of my time.
They found one piece. They found one piece of the many they needed after 800 episodes.
What are you talking about?
One Piece. The whole premise of One Piece.
One Piece is a thing.
Yes, that turns out to be many different things. It's shattered.
Okay.
They had to find the pieces of the One Piece.
I don't think they actually were... I didn't know that they had actually brought One Piece into the story. Because the story is not about One Piece.
It becomes part of the story, and over the whole
thing... Are you sure, or are you just saying that?
I am sure.
Okay.
Because
That's
know,
honestly a jump of the shark I wasn't expecting.
I don't just say I dislike something. I invest in it enough to where I understand I don't like this.
Right? I do the same thing. It's like, yeah, it's not that I like it. It's that I want to make sure that I'm educated enough to be sure that I dislike it for the right reasons.
And I dislike it for the right reasons.
That's fair. I like it for the opposite reasons, but it's like that is the way to approach. Yeah. When you adamantly dislike something, don't judge it by its cover.
Don't be ignorant about it.
Yes, don't be ignorant. And that's hard sometimes when things...
I didn't like One Piece at all.
It's like some things you look at and you're just like, I know I can't get into that aesthetically. Like what was the Final Fantasy game where the art was chibi and annoying? 9?
9.
I think it was 9.
9 was okay with me because it was that weird transition.
Final Fantasy fans had problems because 9 looked so...
chibi, yes.
Different.
Yes. It was also... It was
I like
weird.
things that are different. I do.
It was that 3D CG that they just started.
No.
It was the in-between stage, which was threw everybody off.
But I like One Piece.
One Piece, it's like watching a movie and you see that detail and it throws you out of the movie and you realize you're watching a movie. It was that...
What?
The art for One Piece did
just
that
took you out of it completely?
It took me out and kept me out.
Ah. Well, that's a shame because it does the opposite for me.
Well, that's good. If you like One Piece, good
the art,
for you.
I'm not saying I like the art when I look at it, you know, out of context. But when the show is being very dramatic and during its fight scenes, the art pulls me in.
Okay.
Especially when they have those ugly crying faces and those big goofy smiles on their face. It's like it makes me feel it.
It's Japan's #1 selling, and also on top of that, there's a lot of people like it. And if you like it, I am happy for you.
I like the characters.
I just couldn't get into it.
Alright, let's do a thing real quick. Who's your favorite from Yu Yu Hakusho? Your favorite character?
Yusuke Urameshi.
The main character?
That or Kuwabara, because I like Kuwabara.
Okay. As far as One Piece, my favorite character would probably be... And remember, I'm only 250 episodes in. Chopper.
Okay.
I like Chopper. He's an INFP like me, if you put any kind of credit behind that, which I don't necessarily. But I like Chopper. I also like Sanji a lot. I like Zoro, but I think I'll have to go with...
I thought you would have picked Zoro. No.
I like Zoro, but he's just... I don't know.
He's One Piece.
He's too stoic sometimes. He is the most hardcore of them. But I like Sanji because he's a cook. He's the cook. He's the cook on the ship, and he's still a good fighter. Because he kicks is his thing. Is it literally kickboxing?
Yeah. He
doesn't use his hands. He just uses his feet, which is really cool. But Chopper's a reindeer who shapeshifts. How fun is that? But go ahead and talk about your...
There's nothing to really talk about. Everybody knows it. It's Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z.
Not Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Z. I grew up with this.
Do you like Super, though? Do you like Super?
Haven't started watching it. I'm going to let it get a sizable way in, and we'll watch it.
If you can help me finish Z, I will watch Super with you.
Okay. I have a lot of Z, and also...
Because again, 250 episodes into Z, I kind of had to jump ship.
Hulu, I believe, has Dragon Ball Z too, so we can...
I know you have some DVDs, I just don't know which ones.
We can finish up the Cell Saga and watch the Boo Saga. I have that.
Cool. But,
we will not watch GT because GT matters not.
GT does not matter. Yeah, it's not canon, right?
The creator, Mizaki, was like, yeah, here's all this information, and all of that information destroyed GT. Yeah,
you know you've got a problem when the creator comes out and says, I'm ignoring this.
Yes.
The exact same thing is happening with Terminator, which is one of the things I'm the most excited for in the last few years, is the Terminator film rights have reverted back to James Cameron. Because every Terminator movie after 2 has been kind of terrible. But James Cameron is going to make his version of Terminator 3.
There you go.
And his response concerning everything in the Terminator franchise up to that point is, and I quote, "We're going to treat all of that as bad dreams."
I love James Cameron.
Like, I love you, James Cameron. Thank you for making my favorite movie.
James Cameron, greatest explorer of the sea.
What?
James
You're right. That fits. Oh my gosh.
James Cameron.
I forgot that episode of South Park was a thing.
But yeah, so it's
Dragon Ball Z.
It's just Dragon Ball Z.
Why do you like it opposed to? Because I know you've watched more shonen than me.
I watched Dragon Ball. I watched Dragon Ball Z, and I watched GT.
You've watched more shonen than me, though. You've watched Fairy Tail,
Bleach, Fairy Tail. I've watched much more than that too.
I never dipped into Fairy Tail. I dipped into Fairy Tail only like for a few episodes, but I watched about, again, 250 episodes of Bleach and then jumped ship. But I wouldn't let myself touch Naruto.
Okay.
So
why is that?
I don't know. It's just not like, I saw the original show and I'm like, nothing about this aesthetically catches me. I don't like the character designs, but of course this was before Shippuden, which frankly in Shippuden they spend a lot. Shippuden. Say it again. Shippuden.
Like Shippuden.
Shippuden. Okay, so frankly in Shippuden they spend a lot of time doing nothing. Right?
That's not, no.
Am I wrong?
90% of it is training and learning stuff. It's awesome the way they do it. I loved Naruto, but I ruled out it being my favorite because of Boruto. Boruto completely ruined it for me.
That's what selective amnesia is for among nerds.
Yes. But the community for the whole Naruto into Boruto makes me rage. Because they do it as a gag.
Why? What's wrong with Boruto? I know we're talking about Dragon Ball Z, but it's very obviously why you like Dragon Ball Z. So we'll come back to that. But...
Okay, so I like all the heroes that I grew up with. Naruto, Sasuke, Kakashi Sensei. I like all of them. And Boruto is like, yeah, they died.
They're dead?
They're
dead!
They showed a thing in the future where Boruto is the only one left. His sister, his mom, Hinata, his dad's dead, his Sasuke's dead, Sakura's dead.
Naruto and Sasuke are both in Boruto.
Not in the flash forward of it. Naruto's dead,
How
Sasuke's
far
dead,
ahead is the fast
dead.
forward?
He's an adult now.
Oh, well.
He's a teen. He's a late teen like Naruto. And
everyone was dead already?
He has one eye that's Bakugan. The Byakugan. And then he has a tattoo that holds jutsus in him. And all his family and family's friends are dead. And they don't explain it. And the story,
sure they're not just absent?
No, they explain and they talk about it. So you come to die like your father. And stuff like that.
Hoi, hoi.
And I'm done.
I've
watched over 1,000 episodes between Naruto and Shippuden. You're just gonna kill my character.
Do you have Boruto?
No.
Okay, because I'm
Naruto.
What I was gonna say is the solution for that is take Boruto, take the DVD out of the case, and break it.
Yeah, no.
Because that is a betrayal unlike anything I've ever seen. It's like we're just gonna completely. To be fair, Boruto has given me the impression, I haven't seen it, but I've seen extended clips. They are trying to set the stage for a new show.
Yes.
To jump from that.
And I want nothing
but
to do with it because they betrayed me.
Transformers did the exact same things. Transformers did the exact same things in the 80s, where when they came out with the theatrical film, they took all of the characters whose toys were no longer being produced by Hasbro, and they murdered them brutally on screen in the movie, and then spent the second half of the movie setting up the new cast.
Oh god.
One of the most horrible things from my childhood was, because I had the original... I was born in 91, but I had the original Transformers movie growing up on VHS. One of the most horrible memories from my childhood, having been not really grown up with the show, but growing up with my exposure to Transformers was the original movie.
Yeah.
Is Starscream getting shot by Megatron and turning into ashes. Megatron doesn't really die, and who cares? But it's like a lot of kids like Starscream.
Yes.
Starscream was my first Transformer, one of my favorite toys. But it's like, oh my gosh, one of my favorite characters just got turned to dust.
Mama help me.
And then Optimus dying on screen and turning gray.
Oh god.
He turns gray, like all the color of his body leaves him.
Like a body.
And my other favorite character, Prowl, gets shot in the chest, and then his insides ignite, and you just see his internal mechanisms catching fire and
melting.
Like he starts to spit up this orange smoke because he's melting from the inside out after he gets shot with Megatron. Starscream shoots Prowl with Megatron.
Wow.
And his insides start to burn. He cooks from the inside out.
That's brutal.
Where he gets shot in the chest, and then his insides melt. But
disclaimer.
Anyway, my point is that's not the way to handle a series reboot. If you're going to do that, just have the characters be there and have them play important roles.
Yeah. Have
them in some sort of situation where they can't be the forerunners of the show anymore. You know, I think Avatar: The Last Airbender did that with Korra.
Yeah, but they did it in the future where the Avatar has a natural lifespan and reincarnation.
Yes, but
they had a better setup.
Weren't some of the characters still around in Korra?
Yes, the older one. They're very old people.
The youngest,
very old, like Katara was still alive.
Yeah, the
Toph was alive.
The blind girl is who I'm talking about.
She was still alive. So was Katara, which is Aang's wife.
Oh, really?
Sokka was alive, I believe. But yeah.
Yeah, that's my point. It's like, but they weren't the stars anymore.
No, not at all.
So don't kill everybody just because you can't figure out something better and more interesting to do with them.
Yeah, so that's
why Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z is a parent. It's your go.
Who's your favorite character in Dragon Ball Z?
Gohan and Broly are
putting you on the spot.
Same plateau.
You know, I don't know what the big deal is about Broly.
He's awesome.
He's just awesome. I think I saw a movie where Goku fought Broly.
That's the first movie. Goku fought Broly with Vegeta, Piccolo, and Trunks. And then there's the second movie where he fights Gohan, Trunks, Kid Trunks, Goten, and Videl.
So he's not a good guy?
No, Broly's a very bad guy.
I'm surprised he's your favorite character then.
Yeah, we'll have to watch it.
But then again, I like
I have the trilogy, and Bio Broly does not exist. That's selective amnesia. It's out. The first two movies are only thing it.
We went off on this huge tangent about
Boruto.
Naruto and Boruto.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what selective amnesia is for. Boruto didn't happen.
So let's do a wrap up with yours, and then...
I can mention the fact, very briefly, that I'm not gonna... The reason Bleach, despite my very much loving the first couple of seasons of Bleach, including the Bount arc, which is...
filler.
Which is filler. It's filler, but it's a great arc. I really liked Bleach. When you get to later parts of that show, however, the filler not only becomes more and more meaningless, but it also interrupts the story.
It hurts it. Yeah.
There is a sequence, and this is pretty much when I stopped watching Bleach. I was like, I'm done. despite loving Bleach, I jumped off at this point, where they go to Waiku Mundo to rescue Orihime. Rukia gets stabbed. She gets, like, impaled and borderline eviscerated. Immediately cut, the next episode to, everybody is back home at school.
It was starting a filler thing, and when they come back...
It went from the middle of a Waco Mundo arc to a filler arc. And I thought it was some sort of flashback sequence. I thought... No, seriously!
My God!
I thought I was watching this, because I watched the episodes back to back, I was following it. I thought maybe Rukia was dying and she was remembering this?
Oh, wow.
Like it was a dream sequence or something?
Like, this is the longest flashback ever!
And then I get like 3 episodes into this filler arc, and I realize it's a filler arc. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I look at the villains, and I'm like, you guys don't matter at all, do you? You literally, watching Rukia spend 7 episodes fighting this ninja guy.
Yeah.
I was so bored.
Yeah.
Because I was ready for Aizen. You know?
You didn't get to that
because I knew what was coming.
You didn't get to that
No,
point.
I know once they go to Waco Mundo, you have the whole arc immediately after that where Aizen becomes involved and...
Yep. All that happens.
There's the fake Karakura town. But it's like, there's the... It just stops.
Yeah.
And when you're watching a show and it gets to the point where the filler is that distracting, I would rather wait for the show to end, which Bleach has now, and go back and try and binge it.
Yeah.
Because at least then I can get through it, and by God, I was so irritated with that particular arc. The one where it just stops in the middle of the Waco Mundo arc, and you go back to the city and they fight ninjas.
What we'll do is, if we ever watch it, we'll watch all of it without the filler.
I don't mind watching the filler. You know, the Bound arc was really...
I don't watch the filler. I skip it.
That's fair. I'll have to watch it separately, but I'll watch it. I'll just have to really power through that one arc. But
it's meaningless and it's not canon, so you can just skip it.
My favorite shonen is one that I've yet to complete, but that's also because it ended prematurely.
And it's going to get another season, right?
It is getting another season. It's a very short season, only like 13 episodes, but it is D. Gray Man.
Which I have seen. It's a good one.
I love D. Gray Man. Picking a favorite... I mean, there's not much to say about D. Gray Man. Frankly, the imagery that it has helped to mold my imagination.
Okay.
Like when I create D&D characters.
Yeah.
They all end up kind of looking like an exorcist.
I can definitely see that.
You know?
Kugel was literally a priest.
Kugel was one of the more obvious ones. But my exalted character
Iggy.
Iggy actually looked like an assassin from Assassin's Creed.
But he acted priest-like to a degree, I would say.
He was a ranger, but he behaved like a paladin.
Yeah.
But my exalted character, Cross, or was it Sheridan? My exalted character was named after the main character from Babylon 5. His name was Cardinal Sheridan. But I used Cross Marion's character design as an art representation for Sheridan.
Okay.
You know Marion, right? General Marion? General Cross?
No, I can't say that I do.
Okay, that's fine. Sure, it's been a long time since you watched D. Gray Man, if you watched it all the way through.
Yeah, it's been years.
But I love D. Gray Man. We are getting D. Gray Man Hello now. I'm looking forward to that immensely. If I had to pick a favorite character... Oh, no. Alistair Crowley?
Okay.
Crowley?
Crowley. It is Crowley?
Crowley, it's Crowley.
Okay.
In D. Gray Man. Because Crowley is another character who that character is based on.
Okay.
Alistair Crowley is based off of a
Me!
He's based off of a vampire from a novel.
Okay.
Named Alistair. Alistair. Yeah, he's named Alistair Crowley.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that.
Alistair Crowley. But, I'm probably still saying it wrong. But I also like the, Miranda. I like Miranda a lot, too. And Cross Marion's awesome.
I have a habit of liking the main guy the most.
I tend to gravitate more toward characters who aren't the main characters.
I say that, but I like Gohan more than Goku.
Like, I never liked any of the main characters from Gundam, but I always liked, like, in Gundam Seed, I like Mula Flaga. I like the character, strangely enough, my favorite characters from most television shows are the characters who are there in a support role, who die later. Spoilers for anything of the following, but in Supernatural,
yeah,
I really like Castiel. And Castiel
spoilers.
I said spoilers.
I'm saying it again.
That's why I said Supernatural.
No complain.
That's why I said Supernatural before.
Spoilers.
I said Castiel, but Castiel kind of broke that mold, though, because he kept coming back.
Yeah.
Gundam Seed, I like Mula Flaga.
Yeah.
I like the side characters who are kind of cool.
Fair enough.
But I think that's going to wrap up the show. Do you have any closing thoughts on shonen animes? Since we basically covered 3 each.
Oh, God. No, not really, except for keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully we get a diamond.
A diamond? What are you talking about?
A good anime, another good shonen. Keep doing what you're doing, shonen. Hopefully we get a diamond from the rough.
Oh, in the rough. Okay. Cool. I did not know.
I'm pretty sure that's explained.
You said that, but I had no idea what you were talking about. Like,
okay. So I hope we get a good show. And I want them to keep making shows. To be clear.
Oh, I had no idea what you were talking about.
You just had a blonde moment.
Which is funny, because I'm a brunette.
And I'm a blonde.
Dun dun dun. But, I guess that, I guess we can close out.
Yes, we can.
So, fellow Nerdians, we hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of Levels of Ridiculousness. You can always find our backlog of older shows, as well as a new episode of LoR every Wednesday here at Nerddom. I'm Ozpin.
I am DK.
Please like, comment, subscribe, leave a listener question, leave a topic suggestion, tell a friend, and rest assured that you're all always welcome here in the kingdom of Nerddom.
Salutations.
Have a good one.